Hello there and welcome. This session is designed to help you ease into deep, restful sleep. We'll begin with a simple meditation to calm your body and quiet your mind. Then, as you drift closer to sleep, I'll introduce a gentle bedtime story, just enough to carry you into your dreams. Before we begin, press the like button and subscribe for more sleep story videos. I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment saying where you're listening from and what time. Find a comfortable position, close your eyes, and take a deep breath in and out. Take a slow, deep breath in and exhale gently. One more time, inhale deeply, filling your lungs with fresh, soothing air. And as you exhale, let go of the day, releasing any tension, any thoughts that no longer serve you. With each breath, feel your body becoming lighter, more at ease, sinking into comfort. You're doing great. Next, bring your awareness to the top of your head. Imagine a warm, gentle light resting there, like the soft glow of a bedside lamp. This light begins to spread slowly, easing away any tension in your forehead, softening the space between your eyebrows, relaxing your eyelids, your cheeks, your jaw. There's nothing you need to hold on to. Just let everything soften, loosen, unwind. Feel your shoulders drop slightly as if a weight has been lifted. Your arms become heavy, sinking into deep relaxation. With every breath, this warmth moves lower, your chest rising and falling effortlessly, your stomach soft and calm, your legs and feet completely at rest. The world around you fades into quiet. There is nothing to do, nowhere to be. Just this moment, just rest. Imagine yourself wrapped in a cozy, soft blanket of stillness, safe, warm, and peaceful. Each breath carries you deeper into comfort, deeper into rest, deeper into sleep. And here's tonight's cozy bedtime story. The Reverse Wish. If you ever need someone to complain, I'm your guy. I'm Nick Carter, an expert in finding the cloud in every silver lining. Some people are good at sports, others at art. But me? I can find fault in everything. Whether it's the weather, my job, or my thoroughly mediocre social life. My best friend Lisa has a loving nickname for me. She calls me the Mayor of Misery. Charming, isn't it? This particular Monday morning was a special kind of dismal. The sky was a depressing shade of gray, and the continuous drizzle seemed intent on mocking my umbrella's futile attempts at defense. Great weather for ducks, or for growing mold, I grumbled to myself as I walked into the office. The office, a small, cluttered space in a building that had seen better days, was where I spent my daylight hours, or as I like to call them, my daily sentence. My desk was a mess of papers and old coffee cups. It was as though the chaos of my mind had spilled out into my physical space. As soon as I sat down, Mr. Simmons, my perpetually disgruntled boss, appeared beside my desk. His frown was as deep as the Grand Canyon. "Carter," he growled. Since you're so good at spotting problems, you can handle the Henderson account. They've been complaining about errors in their last 3 shipments. Fix it. I sighed, a long theatrical exhale meant to convey the full depth of my suffering. Sure, Mr. Simmons, because clearly what I need is more work, especially the kind that involves solving other people's mistakes. Don't be cheeky, Carter, just get it done, Mr. Simmons snapped, before stomping off to terrorize some other unfortunate soul. I stared at the stack of complaint files, each a testament to human error and my impending headaches. As I started sifting through the paperwork, Lisa popped her head over the cubicle wall, her eyes twinkling with mischief. Hey, Mayor, how's the reign of terror going? Oh, fantastic, I drawled. Simmons has bestowed upon me the honor of handling the Henderson horrors, because, my life wasn't Kafkaesque enough. Lisa laughed, shaking her head. Nick, most people would kill for a little excitement at work. You should try looking on the bright side for once. And deprive myself of my only hobby? Never, I replied. But her words made me pause. Was I really that negative? I shook off the unsettling thought and focused on the files again. Throughout the day, I tackled the Henderson account with the enthusiasm of a man walking to the gallows. Each email was drafted with the care of defusing a bomb, each call an exercise in diplomatic groveling. By the time the clock signaled the end of the workday, I was more than ready to escape. As I trudged out of the building with Lisa, I couldn't help but continue my tirade. You know what the worst part is? It's not just the extra work or the incessant complaints. It's that Simmons seems to enjoy piling it on me. Lisa nudged me with her elbow. Maybe he trusts you to handle the tough stuff because he knows you won't miss a thing. Ever think of that, Mr. Mayor? I scoffed. In my world, trust is just another word for more work. Lisa rolled her eyes. Someday you're going to surprise yourself, Nick. You'll wake up and see that not everything is as bad as you make it out to be. Until then, I'll keep reminding you. As we parted ways, her words echoed in my mind. Maybe it was time for a change. Maybe I could try, just for a day, to not complain about everything. But as I looked up at the sky, noticing how the clouds seemed to thicken with the promise of more rain, I sighed. Maybe tomorrow, I muttered, opening my umbrella against the first drops of the evening rain. I stand there, holding the muffin Tony just gave me, my mind racing. The timing couldn't be more bizarre. Just a second ago, I was practically cursing my rotten luck, and now here's this barista, smiling at me like he's in on some cosmic joke that I'm not privy to. Thanks, Tony, I mutter, still too surprised to muster genuine gratitude. Tony just nods, his eyes twinkling with an inexplicable mirth. As I leave the coffee shop, muffin in hand, I can't help but wonder if there's something special about Tony or the muffin. Shaking my head, I dismiss the thought as quickly as it comes. It's just a muffin, right? But then, as if on cue, my phone buzzes with a notification. It's an email from my boss, and I brace myself for more bad news. But instead, it's an unexpected project approval I've been waiting months for. Could this day get any stranger? I whisper to myself. Deciding to test my sudden stroke of luck, I head to the lottery ticket vendor at the corner of the street. I buy a ticket, almost daring the universe to keep this good luck streak going. I chuckle under my breath, feeling a bit foolish. Luck isn't magical. It can't be switched on like a light. But then again, today seems anything but ordinary. With the lottery ticket tucked safely in my wallet, I head to work. The rest of the day passes without incident, and my good luck seems to have dried up as quickly as it appeared. The traffic on the way home is as bad as ever, and I arrive at my apartment feeling deflated. Maybe it was all just a series of coincidences. That evening, Lisa comes over. I haven't told her about the day's oddities yet, but as soon as I open the door, her wide smile tells me she's got news. "Guess what, Nick? I got the promotion. We should celebrate," she exclaims, bouncing on her heels. "Wow, that's great, babe," I reply, genuinely happy for her, but distracted by the events of my own day. As we sit down with a bottle of wine, I decide to tell her about the muffin, the email, and the lottery ticket. Lisa listens, her brows knitting together in confusion and amusement. "So you think a muffin changed your luck?" she teases, but I can tell she's intrigued. I know it sounds crazy, but after that, things just, I don't know, felt different. I explain, struggling to make sense of it myself. We spend the evening theorizing about luck, magic, and everything in between. Lisa suggests, half-jokingly, that maybe Tony is a wizard. We laugh, but part of me wonders, not entirely convinced of the impossibility. The next morning, I wake up to my phone ringing. It's an unknown number, and I'm hesitant to pick up, but something nudges me to answer it. "Hello?" "Is this Nick?" a cheerful voice on the other end asks. "Yes, speaking." "This is Jenny from the state lottery. I'm happy to inform you that you've won the second-tier prize in last night's drawing." My heart skips a beat. "You're kidding," I stammer, a mix of disbelief and excitement washing over me. "It's no joke, sir. Congratulations." As I hang up, a million thoughts race through my mind. The day before rushes back to me in a vivid replay. Every minor detail, every moment of unexpected fortune. And at the center of it all is Tony, handing me that muffin. Determined to find some answers, I head back to the coffee shop. It's early, and the morning rush hasn't started yet. Tony is there, setting up for the day. He looks up as I enter, a knowing smile playing on his lips. "Back for more magic?" he jokes, but his eyes are serious. "Tony, I need to know. Was there something special about that muffin yesterday?" I ask, cutting straight to the chase. Tony's expression softens, and he gestures for me to take a seat. As he joins me, his demeanor changes, and he looks around cautiously before leaning in. "Nick, sometimes the universe listens. It hears our pleas, our frustrations, and yes, even our wishes. That muffin was just a muffin, but your wish, well, it might have caught the right ears." "So what? My luck changed because I made a wish?" I ask, incredulous but desperate for any explanation. "Maybe," Tony says with a shrug. "Or maybe you just started noticing the good as much as the bad. Either way, does it matter?" You've got a bit of magic now. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Leaving the coffee shop that day, I feel a weight lifted off my shoulders. Whether it's real magic or just a change in perspective, I can't deny that something has shifted. With a newfound sense of wonder, I decide it's time to embrace whatever comes my way. With a little less complaint and a lot more gratitude. The whole experience is messing with my head. I've never been one to believe in magic or miracles, and yet here I am, wondering if my words somehow reshaped my reality. A simple statement, a wish turned on its head, and suddenly my usual day at the office transforms into something almost enjoyable. My boss, Mr. Thompson, who typically greets me with a grunt and a pile of paperwork, greeted me today with a smile and a compliment on my recent report. I spent the whole day second-guessing every good moment, trying to figure out if I was in some elaborate dream. I decide not to tell Lisa about this yet. I need more proof before I sound like I've completely lost it. So I plan my next move, another reverse wish. Tonight I don't ask for my chronic insomnia to give me a break. Instead I whisper into the darkness, I hope I don't get a single minute of sleep. But the experiment takes a wild turn. My eyes shut almost as soon as my head hits the pillow, and I fall into a deep, undisturbed sleep. For the first time in months, I wake up feeling refreshed and rejuvenated. It's uncanny. It's like the universe is not just listening, but is in a playful mood, twisting my words into their opposites. I spend the day in a daze, fueled by an odd mixture of skepticism and curiosity. I keep testing this strange new power with small, harmless phrases. I bet it's going to rain all day, I say under a sky so blue it looks like it's been painted. Not a drop of rain falls. I'm sure dinner will be just awful, I tell Lisa as we walk into our favorite restaurant. The meal turns out to be the best we've had in months. With each inverted wish, the results are immediate and completely opposite. It's exhilarating and a little terrifying. By the end of the week, I'm convinced that something extraordinary is happening. I can't keep it to myself any longer. I invite Lisa over, planning to reveal everything. She arrives with her usual sunny smile, armed with a box of donuts to celebrate the weekend. I lead her to the living room, my heart pounding as I prepare to let her in on my bizarre discovery. Lisa, something weird has been happening, I start, watching her expression change from cheerful to concerned. What is it, Nick? Are you okay? She asks, setting the donuts down on the coffee table. I take a deep breath. Remember the other day when I said work was going to be amazing just to test a theory? Well, it was, and it hasn't stopped there. Every time I say something bad is going to happen, the opposite occurs. It's like I'm making reverse wishes. Lisa's eyes widen, her initial concern shifting to intrigue. Are you saying you think you're controlling what happens by saying the opposite? I nod, feeling slightly ridiculous now that I'm saying it out loud. I know it sounds crazy, but I've tested it, again and again. It works. She leans back, her gaze thoughtful. That's actually pretty cool, Nick, but also kind of scary. Have you thought about what this means? The responsibility. Her words hit me harder than expected. responsibility. The concept hadn't fully crossed my mind until now. I'd been too caught up in the thrill of it all, the power to invert my bad luck, to turn my usual complaints into blessings. You're right, I admit. I've been playing around, but I haven't thought about the bigger picture. Lisa's curiosity now seems to match my own. So, what are you going to do with it? This could be something good, Nick, if you use it right. Her optimism is infectious, and a plan begins to form in my mind. Maybe I can use it to help people, to change things for the better, not just for me, but for others too. Lisa nods enthusiastically, like a superhero but with reverse wishes. Yeah, exactly. I feel a surge of excitement, tempered with a newfound sense of purpose. But I'll need to be careful. If this is real, I need to think about every word I say. We spend the rest of the evening discussing the possibilities, mapping out scenarios where my reverse wishes could make a difference. By the time Lisa leaves, I feel ready to face this new reality. It's a lot to take in, but with Lisa by my side, I'm hopeful about what the future holds. As I watch her drive away, I can't help but test it one more time. I bet Lisa won't text me when she gets home, I say quietly, a smile tugging at my lips. Minutes later, my phone lights up. It's Lisa. Got home safe. Let's change the world, one reverse wish at a time. It seems the universe is still listening, and maybe, just maybe, it's on our side. I arrived at work the next morning with a strange sense of anticipation. After yesterday's realization, I decided to test my newfound power with more intention. No more negativity, no more passive suffering, just positivity and simple wishes. Stepping into the office, I took a deep breath. Today is going to be a smooth, productive day, I whispered under my breath. I expected nothing in particular, but almost immediately I felt lighter. My inbox, which was usually stuffed with urgent emails from Mr. Simmons, had only a few routine messages. No frantic subject lines, no all-caps demands for last-minute reports. I smiled to myself and strolled over to my desk. As I settled in, Eric, the new guy, leaned over from the adjacent cubicle. "Morning, Nick," he said, sipping his coffee. "If you've got anything you need help with, let me know. I feel like I could use something to keep me busy." I nearly laughed out loud. Yesterday, I'd wished for an easy day, and Eric had miraculously appeared with an offer to share my workload. Coincidence? Maybe. But I wasn't about to dismiss it. "Actually, yeah," I said, handing him a stack of invoices. "If you don't mind running through these, that'd be a big help." "No problem," he said with a grin. "Happy to help." I watched him get to work, a strange warmth settling in my chest. This was working. Had I really been dooming myself all this time with my own mindset? How often had I muttered complaints about long days, heavy workloads, and bad luck? Had I been shaping my own reality with negativity? I decided to push things further. "Lisa is going to be in a good mood today," I whispered, thinking of my sometimes short-tempered coworker. Lisa was brilliant at her job, but had a habit of snapping at people when things didn't go her way. If this experiment really worked, maybe I could will her into a better mood. Not 10 minutes later, Lisa breezed into the office with an iced coffee in hand and a spring in her step. "Hey, Nick," she said, flashing me a rare smile. "You got that vendor report yet?" Yeah," I stammered, caught off guard. I grabbed the file from my desk and handed it to her. "Thanks. Oh, by the way, I saw this new cafe on 5th that sells those muffins you like. Thought you might want to check it out sometime." She was making small talk. Lisa, making small talk. I felt like I'd just stepped into an alternate reality. Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Lisa." She nodded and walked away, leaving me staring after her. This was getting freaky. How much power did I really have? I needed a bigger test. By lunchtime, I sat at my desk, spinning my pen between my fingers. What else could I change? I didn't want to get greedy, but if I could make my work life easier, what about my personal life? What about money? I exhaled and leaned back. I'm going to find $20 today. It felt ridiculous. But hey, I was on a winning streak. An hour later, I went down to the lobby to grab a coffee. As I waited in line, my shoe nudged something on the floor. I looked down. A $20 bill. I froze. My heartbeat pounded in my ears as I slowly bent to pick it up. It was real, crisp and slightly crumpled, but real. I glanced around. No one else seemed to notice. "You okay?" Eric's voice startled me. I shoved the bill in my pocket and turned toward him. "Yeah, just lucky." He raised an eyebrow. "Find money or something?" I hesitated before nodding. "Yeah." "Nice," he said, taking a sip of his coffee. "Guess today's your day." I didn't respond. My mind was racing. If I could conjure a $20 bill, what else could I do? And more importantly, was there a limit? I decided to be bold. That night, lying in bed, I made my biggest wish yet. Tomorrow, something amazing is going to happen. Something life-changing. I didn't specify what. I didn't want to jinx it, but as I closed my eyes, I felt a strange sense of certainty. Whatever was coming, I was ready. I never thought that silence could be so loud, that not saying a word could speak volumes. Lisa's challenge seemed simple on the surface, but as the sun rose on what was to be my day without complaints, I realized the magnitude of the task ahead. The morning started as usual, with the abrasive blare of my alarm, which on any other day would have earned a grumble and a smack. Today, however, I merely shut it off and got out of bed. The quiet was strangely satisfying. I stood there for a moment, marveling at the calm that enveloped me, a stark contrast to my typical morning demeanor. As I went through my morning routine, I became acutely aware of every negative thought that tried to surface. Each time I pushed it away, replacing it with nothing. I didn't realize how often complaints came to mind until I actively worked to suppress them. The silence was harder to maintain than I thought, but each victory made me feel progressively lighter. By the time I reached the cafe where Tony worked, the usual irritants of my morning commute hadn't elicited a single complaint from me. No muttered insults at the slow walkers, no under-the-breath curses at the drivers who didn't seem to understand the concept of turn signals. Nothing. and it felt liberating. Tony noticed right away. "You seem different today," he said, handing me my usual order with a curious glance. "Just trying something new," I replied, my voice steadier than I expected. It was the truth, albeit not the whole truth. How could I explain that I was essentially conducting an experiment on myself? That I was trying to see if I could change the very fabric of my personality by simply holding my tongue? The day progressed, and with each passing hour I felt a growing sense of peace. I listened more, not just waiting for my turn to speak, but really hearing what others had to say. It was during a meeting with Lisa that I realized the full impact of the challenge. Lisa was in full project manager mode, outlining the tasks for our team with her usual efficiency. Normally, I would have at least a couple of sarcastic remarks ready to undermine any suggestions I found pointless or overly ambitious. Today, I simply listened, nodding and taking notes. It wasn't just about not complaining, it was about being present in the moment. After the meeting, Lisa caught up with me. "I have to admit, I didn't think you'd take me up on the challenge," she said, a smile playing on her lips. "It's harder than I thought it would be," I confessed. "But it's also been more rewarding than I expected. I feel lighter, like I'm not carrying around a load of negativity." "That's the power of words, Nick. Or in your case, the power of withholding them," Lisa said thoughtfully. "Sometimes it's not about what we say, but what we choose not to say." The rest of the day was a test of endurance. Every moment I remained silent, every complaint I swallowed added to this newfound sense of calm. I was discovering parts of myself I had never met before, parts that didn't need to voice every displeasure, that could find contentment in quiet acceptance. As the day drew to a close, I reflected on the silent journey I had embarked upon. The absence of complaints had not only changed how I interacted with the world, it had altered my internal landscape. I was quieter inside, more thoughtful, less eager to fill the silence with noise. That night I met Lisa and Tony for a drink, a sort of celebration of my successful completion of the challenge. "So, how do you feel?" Tony asked, echoing his question from that morning. "I feel changed," I said simply. "It's like I've been tuned to a different frequency, one that's much less chaotic." Lisa raised her glass. "To finding power in silence," she toasted. I clinked my glass against hers, a content smile on my face. "To the power of words," I corrected gently, "and the wisdom to know when not to use them." The challenge was over, but the lessons were just beginning. As we laughed and talked into the night, I realized that this experiment in silence had opened a door to a more mindful way of living. I was keen to explore what lay beyond that door, eager to see how far I could go on this journey of self-discovery. And as the stars twinkled above us, I made another wish, this time not a reverse wish, but a hopeful one, that I would continue to find strength in silence and wisdom in words, balancing both as I navigated the complexities of life. I woke up that morning feeling an unusual lightness, a buoyant lift that fluttered in my chest like a caged bird finally set free. For the first time in what felt like forever, I was eager to get to work. It wasn't just the prospect of the day's tasks that excited me. It was the people I'd meet there, the conversations we'd have. Something had shifted inside me, something subtle yet profound. I was no longer a prisoner to my own pessimism. As I prepared for work, Lisa's words echoed in my mind. "You're glowing, Nick," she had said last night, her eyes wide with a mixture of surprise and delight. It was as if she was looking at someone entirely new, not the man who'd spent years cloaked in a shroud of negativity. I smiled at my reflection, noticing a spark in my eyes that hadn't been there before. At the office, the change in my demeanor seemed to cast a ripple across the room. I greeted my coworkers with genuine smiles and interested queries about their weekends. In return, I received warm responses, some tinged with surprise but all welcoming. It felt as though I was part of a community, not just a cog in a corporate machine. Mid-morning, I got a message from Eric. "Lunch today? My treat." I stared at the screen for a moment, stunned. Eric and I had worked in the same department for years, but had never crossed the line into personal territory. His invitation was a clear sign that my efforts to assume the best in people were paying off. We chose a small cafe just a block away from our building, a place I'd passed countless times but never entered. As we sat down with our sandwiches and coffee, the conversation flowed effortlessly. Eric talked about his passion for mountain biking and his recent trip to the trails upstate. I found myself engrossed, asking questions, genuinely interested in learning more about his experiences. "What about you, Nick? Any hobbies?" Eric asked, his tone friendly and curious. I hesitated, realizing that I hadn't really engaged in any hobbies for years. My life had been about work and worrying, hardly the stuff of interesting conversation. "Actually, I've been thinking about picking up photography," I ventured, surprised at my own words. "I used to love it in college." "That sounds great." Eric's encouragement felt like a warm pat on the back. "You should definitely pursue that." The rest of the day passed in a blur of productivity and positive interactions. When I got home, I was buzzing with energy. Lisa noticed immediately. "You look like you had a good day," she observed, handing me a cup of tea. "I did," I replied, sinking into the couch next to her. "It's like I'm seeing everything through a new lens. People are so much kinder than I gave them credit for." Lisa nodded, her smile tender. "It's amazing, isn't it? How small shifts in our attitude can bring about big changes." I nodded, sipping my tea thoughtfully. The warmth from the cup seeped into my hands, mirroring the warmth spreading through my heart. This newfound positivity was more than just a fleeting experiment. It was becoming a habit, a new way of seeing the world and my place in it. That night, I dug out my old camera from the back of the closet. The equipment felt foreign yet familiar in my hands. I spent the evening tinkering with it, reacquainting myself with its functions and buttons. It felt like reuniting with an old friend. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of positive energy and new beginnings. I started taking my camera to work, capturing shots of the city on my lunch breaks. My coworkers began to take an interest, asking to see the photos, complimenting my eye for detail. Eric even suggested a weekend bike ride and photo shoot at a nearby nature reserve. As I embraced this new chapter, I realized that the biggest change was in myself. By choosing to assume the best about the world around me, I had opened doors I never knew existed. The connections I formed, the hobbies I rediscovered, and the simple joy of everyday interactions, these were the true rewards of my new outlook. Looking back, I couldn't help but marvel at how far I'd come. From the gloomy skeptic to the enthusiastic participant, my journey was a testament to the power of positivity. I was not just surviving, I was thriving, and I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, with this new mindset, I was ready to face them head on with a smile. As I stride into the conference room, a curious sensation of calm washes over me. Today, I'm not just prepared. I'm preemptively grateful. I'm so thankful that today's presentation will be a success. I whisper to myself, a smile tugging at the corners of my mouth. The room fills quickly, the buzz of early morning chatter echoing off the stark white walls. I find a spot at the head of the table, setting up my notes and laptop. The air is thick with anticipation, or maybe it's just the robust aroma of the coffee that Lisa brought in. She gives me an encouraging nod as she takes her seat across from me. Mr. Simmons walks in last, his presence commanding silence. He nods curtly to me, then to the rest of the team, before settling into his chair. I can feel the weight of his gaze, scrutinizing, always assessing. But today, I'm ready. Today, I feel different. I start the presentation with a confidence that feels both foreign and exhilarating. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I'm excited to share our progress and the new strategies moving forward. The words flow effortlessly, my slides are seamless, and I find myself riding a wave of gratitude with each slide I advance. Halfway through, I catch Mr. Simmons jotting down notes. His furrowed brow, usually a precursor to criticism, today seems reflective, even approving. As I conclude, the room erupts into a warm applause, a rarity in these walls. Mr. Simmons is the first to his feet, his clapping slow but deliberate. "Excellent work, Nick," he says, his voice carrying a tone of genuine respect. "This is the level of excellence I expect. Well done." Flushing with pride, I thank him, my heart swelling. "I appreciate your feedback, sir. I'm grateful for the opportunity to lead this project." As the room clears, Lisa hangs back, her expression thoughtful. "Nick, can I ask you something?" she inquires, her head slightly tilted. "Of course, Lisa. What's up? How do you do it? You've been different lately, more positive. It's like you expect things to go well, and then they do. What's your secret?" I chuckle, realizing how bizarre it must sound. I started practicing something I call the gratitude test. Basically, I thank the universe for the good things before they happen. It sounds silly, but it changes your mindset, makes you expect success rather than fear failure. Lisa's eyes widen, a spark of curiosity igniting. "That's actually really cool. Mind if I try it? By all means, be my guest. I grin, feeling a ripple of joy at the thought of sharing this little life hack. Over the next few weeks, the shift in the office is palpable. Lisa adopts the gratitude approach and even starts leading her team with a more positive, expectant attitude. Our productivity soars, and the general mood lightens. It's as if we've all tapped into some secret source of workplace harmony. Mr. Simmons, traditionally a hard man to impress, calls me into his office one brisk Monday morning. The nerves that once would have gnawed at my stomach are quiet, replaced by a serene confidence. "Nick, I've noticed the changes you've instigated," he begins, his hands clasped on the desk. "You've brought a new energy to the team. It's refreshing." I nod, my response measured but sincere. "Thank you, Mr. Simmons. I believe that when we expect the best, we bring out the best in ourselves and in others." He nods slowly, the corners of his mouth twitching upwards in an almost smile. "Keep it up, Nick. I'm considering expanding your role here. I think we could use more of your optimism." As I leave his office, I can't help but marvel at how simple yet profound gratitude can be. It's not just about being thankful for what we have, it's about being thankful for what we're going to receive. It's a testament to the power of positive expectations, of believing that the universe is conspiring in our favor. That night, as I jot down notes for the next day, I pause, my pen hovering over the paper. "I'm grateful for the challenges tomorrow might bring," I write, "because I know they'll bring out the best in me." With a contented sigh, I cap my pen. Whatever tomorrow holds, I'm ready for it. With gratitude as my shield, I'm invincible. It was one of those moments when you realize that the universe might just be rooting for you. The evening with Emily was unexpected, like a spontaneous twist in a plot you thought you had figured out. As I walked her home, our conversation meandered through our favorite books, our shared love for indie music, and our dreams that seemed a little less daunting when said out loud to someone who genuinely listened. I've never met anyone who gets so excited about old bookstores. Emily laughed, her eyes sparkling under the streetlights. Her delight was infectious, and I found myself grinning back without the usual self-consciousness that gnawed at my confidence. "Yeah, well, there's just something about the smell of old pages and the mystery of who owned them before. It's like being a detective in a very quiet, dusty mystery," I replied, hoping my enthusiasm didn't sound too peculiar. She nodded eagerly. "I totally get that. It's like holding a piece of history in your hands." As we reached her apartment building, a slight hesitation hung in the air. It was that pivotal moment where the night could end with a simple goodbye, or an indication of something more. Emily stood there, her keys dangling in her hand, a gentle smile playing on her lips. "Nick, I had a great time tonight," she said, her voice soft yet clear in the crisp night air. "Me too, Emily. I was actually wondering if you'd like to go out again, maybe next weekend?" I asked, my heart thumping loudly in my chest. Her smile widened. "I'd love that. How about we try that new Thai place that opened up on 5th Street? I hear they have the best pad Thai. That sounds perfect, I replied, relief washing over me. We exchanged a few more words, and then she hugged me. It was a warm, sincere hug, one that lingered just a second longer than I had expected. As I walked away, I felt lighter, like I had shed a layer of doubt that had clung to me for too long. Over the next few days, I replayed our date in my mind, each time finding new details to smile about. I talked to Lisa about it, and she was thrilled. I told you she'd like you. Just be yourself, Nick. That's the best advice I can give, Lisa said. And for once, her advice didn't feel like a platitude. Saturday came quickly, and I met Emily at the Thai restaurant. Dinner was a blend of flavors and laughter. We talked about everything from our worst first dates to our ambitions. Emily wanted to start her own graphic design business, while I was contemplating going back to school for creative writing. It's never too late to chase what you love, she said earnestly, her hand briefly touching mine across the table. That touch sent a wave of warmth through me, and I felt emboldened by her support. As we left the restaurant, the city seemed to hum with energy, mirroring my own exhilarated state. We decided to walk through the nearby park, enjoying the cool breeze that rustled through the trees. Under a canopy of stars, Emily stopped and turned to me. Nick, I feel like I can tell you anything, she confessed, her voice tinged with a vulnerability that matched my own feelings. I feel the same way, I admitted, my usual barriers feeling unnecessary and cumbersome around her. There, in the dim light of the park, I took a chance and leaned in to kiss her. It was a gentle kiss, one that spoke of possibilities and new beginnings. Emily responded in kind, her hands coming up to rest on my shoulders. When we finally pulled away, we were both smiling, a little breathless and a lot hopeful. I guess this is the start of something new, Emily whispered, her hand intertwined with mine. It definitely is, I agreed, feeling more confident in that moment than I had in years. As we walked back to her place, hand in hand, I realized that meeting Emily wasn't just a happy accident. It was a turning point. I was no longer the guy who doubted every good thing in his life. With Emily, I felt like I could conquer my fears and perhaps write a new chapter in my own story. A chapter where I wasn't my own enemy, but my own hero. And as I said goodnight and watched her disappear behind her door, I knew one thing for certain. I was eager to see where this story would go. As I rolled out of bed that morning, the remnants of last night's conversation with Lisa still echoed in my head. Just put it out there, she had said with a shrug, sipping her chamomile tea. The universe listens, you know. It sounded like something out of a self-help book that Emily would read, not the hard, logical advice I usually expected from Lisa. But there was something in her nonchalance that made me wonder if maybe there was something to this wishful thinking. So as I stood there, staring at my reflection in the foggy bathroom mirror, I whispered, I wish for something exciting at work. It felt silly talking to my reflection, a grown man asking the universe for a favor. I quickly cleared the steam with my hand and brushed off the whole scene as a moment of early morning madness. The day at the office started as any other. I grabbed my coffee, nodded at the usual faces, and settled into the rhythm of my keyboard clacking. But the air felt different, charged almost, as if it was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. Around mid-morning, Eric, my boss, popped his head around my cubicle. "Nick, got a minute?" "Sure, Eric, what's up?" I swiveled in my chair, curious. "In my office, please." His tone was unreadable, and the brief, cryptic invitation sent a ripple of anticipation through me. As I walked into Eric's office, the morning sunlight spilled across his desk, lighting up the array of family photos lined up against the window. Eric gestured to a seat. "Nick, I'll get straight to the point. We're opening up a new position, Assistant Director of Marketing. It's a significant step up, and I think you'd be perfect for it." My heart skipped a beat. "Really?" "Yes," he continued. "Your creativity and dedication haven't gone unnoticed. Think about it, and let me know your decision by next week." I nodded, barely managing to contain a mix of excitement and disbelief. As I left his office, the words from the morning echoed in my head. The universe listens. I spent the rest of the day in a daze, the news of the promotion opportunity simmering in the back of my mind. It wasn't just any promotion. This was the break I had been waiting for, a chance to really make my mark. On my way home, I stopped by the park where Lisa and I often met after work. Today, she was already there, reading a book under our favorite oak tree. "Guess what?" I said, unable to keep the grin off my face as I approached. She looked up, her eyes narrowing playfully. "You won the lottery?" "Better," I chuckled, taking a seat beside her. "The promotion at work, it's happening." Her face lit up. "See? I told you the universe listens." "Yeah, about that." I started, recounting the morning's wish and the subsequent conversation with Eric. Lisa listened, nodding thoughtfully. "You see, it's not just about wishing. It's about putting your intention out there, making it known not only to the universe but to yourself. It's about alignment, Nick." I considered her words. It sounded too mystical for my taste, but I couldn't ignore the coincidence. Maybe there was power in articulating what you wanted, a way to subconsciously guide your actions towards your goals. Over the next few days, I found myself thinking about what else I might wish for, testing the limits of this newfound concept. I started small, wishing for a good parking spot, a free coffee, a green light when I was running late. And sometimes, just sometimes, things seemed to fall into place as if by magic. But the true test came when I decided to wish for something bigger, something more meaningful. I wanted to reconnect with my brother Tom, whom I hadn't spoken to in years after a bitter argument. It was a deep, almost painful wish, one that I carried silently. A week later, out of the blue, Tom called. "Hey, Nick, it's been too long. I think it's time we cleared the air." As I hung up the phone, a shiver ran down my spine. Lisa's words came back to me. "The universe listens, Nick." Maybe it did. Or maybe it was all coincidences strung together by my need to make sense of the chaos of life. Either way, I couldn't deny that something extraordinary was happening. And as I sat there pondering the mysterious workings of the universe, I realized that whether it was truly listening or not, believing it did had changed the way I approached life. It made me more open, more willing to take chances, and more hopeful about the possibilities that lay ahead. The universe might listen, but more importantly, I was now listening too. I still remember that morning, the sunlight sneaking through the blinds, casting lines of gold across my bedroom floor. I was lying there, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing with a mix of anticipation and disbelief. A week had passed since the interview. 7 days of endless scenarios, each one a seesaw of hopes and fears. And then my phone buzzed. The email was succinct, almost clinical, but to me it was a symphony. Congratulations, Nick. We are pleased to inform you that you have been selected for the position of Senior Project Manager. Welcome aboard. I read it, and then I read it again, letting each word sink in, imprint itself into my memory. I deserved this. I really did. I didn't waste a moment. I leapt out of bed, the energy coursing through me too potent to remain still. I punched the air, a silent cheer just for me, in the privacy of my morning enthusiasm. This was more than a job offer. It was validation, a nod to my years of hard work and the late nights spent on projects that seemed to stretch endlessly. After a quick shower and a bite, I headed straight to the office. The building seemed different that day, as if it too recognized the shift in my universe. The security guard at the front desk gave me a nod and a smile. "Morning, Nick. Heard the big news. Congratulations." "Thanks, Jerry," I replied, my grin wide and unabashed. I made my way to my desk, each step light, each greeting from a colleague a reinforcement of the new reality. Then there he was, Mr. Simmons, emerging from his office with a file in hand. He spotted me and stopped, a rare smile breaking over his usually stern features. "Nick, just the man I wanted to see. Come into my office, will you?" His office was a stark contrast to the minimalist cubicles outside. Bookshelves lined the walls, laden with thick tomes and industry manuals, and his desk was a sprawling expanse of dark wood. He gestured to a chair, and I took a seat, the leather cool against my back. "Nick, I must say, your interview last week was impressive. It's clear you've got a vision for where you want to take your team, and I'm looking forward to seeing you implement it." I nodded, the affirmation from Mr. Simmons not just warming but igniting a fire within. "Thank you, sir. I've got a lot of ideas, and I'm eager to get started." "Good," he said, his nod decisive. "I want you to lead the next project with Eric. He's got a good head on his shoulders, but he could use a mentor like you to guide him." The mention of Eric brought another layer of excitement. Eric was sharp, undoubtedly one of the brightest minds in the department. The prospect of mentoring him not only appealed to my sense of leadership, but also to my belief in nurturing talent. "Absolutely, I look forward to working with him closely," I said. As I left Mr. Simmons's office, I spotted Eric at his desk, headphones on, completely absorbed in his work. I approached, tapping lightly on his desk to catch his attention. "Hey, Eric," I started as he looked up, a slight frown giving way to curiosity. "Looks like we'll be working together on the new project. I was thinking we could kick things off with a meeting to brainstorm some ideas. How's your schedule?" Eric's eyes lit up, the enthusiasm unmistakable. "Sure, Nick, I'd love that. Just let me know when, and I'll make the time." The rest of the day passed in a blur of congratulations and planning sessions. When I finally stepped out of the building, the sky was a canvas of fiery streaks, the sunset an apt metaphor for the day. A chapter had closed, and a new, exciting one was beginning. As I walked to my car, my phone buzzed in my pocket. It was a text from my sister. "Heard about the promotion, so proud of you." I smiled, typing back a quick, "Thanks, sis. Dinner on me this weekend?" As I drove home, the city lights began to flicker on, the streets bathed in their artificial twilight. The road ahead was clear, and for the first time in a long time, so was my mind. I was ready for this. Ready for the challenges, the triumphs, the setbacks, and the learning. I was moving forward, not just in my career but in my life. This was my new horizon, and I was eager to see where it led. As I sit across from Lisa in the cozy corner of our favorite cafe, the soft hum of life buzzing around us, I can't help but marvel at the path that led me here. The aroma of roasted coffee beans is thick in the air, blending with the scent of rain that had started just as we sat down. Lisa's words echo in my mind, a gentle yet profound reminder. The only thing that changed was you. It's true. The Nick from a few years ago wouldn't recognize the man I am today. Back then, my life felt like a series of unfortunate events, a constant battle against a relentless tide. I was in a job that drained me, a relationship that was running on fumes, and a mindset that was my own worst enemy. But now, as I glance at the street outside, watching people darting under their umbrellas, I realize that the storm I once faced was not around me, but within me. And the moment I chose to steer my ship differently, the skies began to clear. "Nick, are you even listening?" Lisa's voice pulls me back, her eyes twinkling with a mix of amusement and curiosity. "Sorry," I smile, just reflecting on how far I've come. "And it's all because you decided to change the sails, not the wind," she adds, sipping her coffee. Her analogy makes me laugh. That's one way to put it. It's remarkable how much influence we have over our lives once we take control of our actions and attitudes. My relationship with Emily is a testament to that. Emily, with her boundless optimism and infectious laughter, has shown me what it means to love and be loved in a way that is both exhilarating and calming. She's not just my partner, she's my best friend, my confidant. The job change was another leap of faith. Leaving the security of my old job where I was miserable but comfortable was terrifying. Yet here I am, thriving in an environment that not only challenges me but also appreciates me. My ideas are heard, and my contributions valued. It's a feeling that I had long forgotten, overshadowed by the mundane grip of my previous employment. thinking about Emily?" Lisa's voice is soft, knowing. "Yeah," I admit, my heart warming at the thought of her. "She's changed my life in ways I can't even begin to explain." Lisa nods. "She's good for you. I haven't seen you this happy in, well, ever." Her approval means the world to me. Lisa has been my constant through many phases of life. Her friendship is one of the pillars on which I rebuilt myself. She saw potential in me when I saw none in myself. "So, what's next for you, Nick?" Lisa asks, a subtle shift in her tone to one of intrigue. I think for a moment, feeling the weight and excitement of the question. "I want to give back somehow. I've been thinking about starting a mentorship program at work. There are so many young talents out there just needing a little guidance, someone to believe in them." "That sounds amazing, Nick. It's just like you to think of helping others now that you've found your footing." Her words reinforce my resolve. This idea, still forming, now feels like a call to action. I want to be for someone else what Lisa was for me, a beacon in the confusing storm of life. The conversation shifts as we reminisce, laugh, and plan. The afternoon slips by like the gentle rain outside our window. There, but somehow at the edges of our attention. As we part ways, stepping out into the now drizzling rain, I feel a renewed sense of purpose and gratitude. The street glistens under the city lights, reflecting like a mirror the new life I've crafted. Every puddle, a reminder of the storms I've weathered. Walking home, I think about Emily waiting for me, about the job that excites me every day, and the future that beckons with open arms. Lisa was right. The only thing that had to change was me. And in changing, everything has aligned in ways I once thought were only for others, never for me. Tonight, as I close the door behind me, stepping into the warm embrace of my home, I realize that this chapter of my life, perhaps, is the one where I finally understand that the author of my story has always been me. And I can't wait to see what the next page holds. As I sit in the cozy corner of my favorite coffee shop, the familiar buzz of the espresso machine and the soft murmur of conversations create a comforting backdrop. The steam from my coffee cup fogs up my glasses briefly as I lean back, watching the busy street outside through the rain-streaked window. It's a typical overcast day, but there's a warmth here that the chill outside can't penetrate. Tony, who's not just the owner but a good friend, comes over with his ever-present grin. "What's on your mind, Nick?" he asks as he wipes down the table next to mine. "Just thinking about life," I reply, returning the smile. "You know, I wish for more happiness and success to keep flowing my way." It's a sincere wish, spoken without the shadow of doubt that used to cloud my thoughts. Tony chuckles, setting down a plate with a freshly baked muffin next to my coffee. "Well, consider this a little starter for that happiness," he says, tapping the plate. The muffin, with its golden top and the smell of blueberries, is just a small gesture, but it feels like a symbol of the simple joys I've come to appreciate. I take a bite, the warm berries bursting with flavor, and I can't help but feel that things are truly looking up. Lisa walks in just then, shaking her umbrella dry. Her face lights up when she sees me, and my heart does a little leap like it always does. "Hey, you two," she greets us, hanging her coat and joining us at the table. "What are we celebrating today?" "Just the usual," I say. "Life, friendship, and free muffins." She laughs, a sound that fills the space around us with its lightness. "I'll toast to that. But I also have news." Her eyes sparkle with excitement. "The gallery accepted my photos for next month's exhibit. It's really happening, Nick." "That's amazing, Lisa," I exclaim. My happiness for her is as genuine as the feelings stirring in my own journey. "See, Tony, the good vibes are contagious." Emily bursts through the door then, her energy sweeping in like a gust of wind. "You guys won't believe what happened," she says breathlessly, dropping into a chair beside Lisa. Her face is flushed with excitement and her eyes are bright. "Tell us," Tony urges, his interest piqued as he hands her a cup of her favorite chamomile tea. "I just got off the phone with a publisher. They want to turn my blog into a book series." Emily can hardly contain her enthusiasm, and we all cheer, caught up in her joy. It's moments like these, surrounded by friends who are like family, that I truly appreciate the fullness of life. We spend the next hour talking, planning, and laughing. We share our dreams, our plans, and the little things that make our days brighter. As the afternoon wears on, Tony has to return to his duties, and Lisa needs to prepare for her upcoming exhibit. Emily stays behind, her excitement still bubbling as she sketches out ideas for her book on napkins. I take a moment to reflect on everything that has happened. Just months ago, I was unsure of where I was headed, feeling like happiness was something meant for others, not for me. But sitting here, seeing the success and joy of my friends and feeling my own heart hopeful and full, I realize how much has changed. "I'm proud of you, Em," I tell her earnestly, "and I can't wait to see where all this leads." She grins, squeezing my hand. "Right back at you, Nick. We're all going somewhere great, aren't we?" As she leaves, promising to keep me updated every step of the way, I sit back and let the peace of the coffee shop envelop me. The final crumbs of the muffin sit on the plate, a sweet reminder of the day's joys. I feel a deep, resonant gratitude for everything and everyone in my life. My final wish, it seems, is already coming true. Happiness and success, not just for me, but for all those I care about. I stand, leaving a tip on the table for Tony, and step out into the light rain. As I open my umbrella, I take a deep breath, ready for whatever comes next. I don't just believe in a brighter future. I'm walking towards it, one hopeful step at a time.